men are locked into this rational, linear A, B, C logic ration. Women, left and right, massive connections between the emotion and logic. You guys see all of the connections between things.
Yeah.
And so for a woman to actually see through a man is your gift to men.
Yeah.
Boys hate it.
Yeah.
Boys hate it. Because it's, what do you mean? You're just being crazy. You're being too sensitive. You're being over, why are you analyzing me?
This is the Illuminate podcast, and I am your host, Rebecca Boatman. I am fascinated with human relationships, from going on first dates to understanding attachment styles and how our personal spiritual mission plays a big role in all of it. I created this podcast to invite you into conversations with inspiring leaders and I, as we explore different topics surrounding dating, relationships, money, and spirituality. Before we start, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing. And my one ask, and a great way that you can contribute to the podcast, is to leave a 5-star review. And now let's jump in. Okay, team, I recorded this podcast almost a year ago. And I finally sat down to sit and edit it. I had so much resistance and discomfort to sitting down with it, but I think simply because it was a really, really challenging time of my life, and also super beautiful time of my life when I was recording this episode that you're about to listen to with Dr. Doug, double PhD psychologist. He's absolutely brilliant. I feel so blessed to have him in my corner. And as I was going through this really hard time, I remember thinking, wow, I am so lucky to have the resources and the people and the wisdom in my corner that I do. And I cannot imagine having to go through this and not have the type of support that I had. So that is what inspired me to want to record this episode with Dr. Doug. And not only do we talk about how to navigate a very challenging situation, but we also talk about the dynamics and the differences between men and women, and the value that a woman holds, and the importance and how she delivers what she knows or what she senses, her intuition, to a man. There's so many gems inside of this episode, so definitely listen to the entire thing. And I have something really exciting. Dr. Doug and I are launching a program to love together. So if that's something that interests you, go on Instagram, find me at Rebecca Boatman, and just direct message me saying Dr. Doug, and then I'll make sure that you stay in the loop about our upcoming program. And now enjoy this very powerful episode.
A man's repentant pain, it's going to make me cry, holding the pain he caused in his partner, where she can actually that pain energetically blends and turns into mutual forgiveness, turns into Christ-like.
Both parties forgiving?
It's both parties forgiving. Yeah, forgiveness is non-directional. Forgiveness is an isness. God is forgiveness. God doesn't forgive us. I don't forgive you. Forgiveness is a reconciliation of the repentant pain. And so you feel that pain, knowing that you loved him. And you feel that pain he caused you, and that self-love, that I can hold my own pain.
Yeah.
And, if I'm causing somebody else pain because of, my dumb ass as a man, we do that shit all the time. And I'm not defending, but I'm feeling the repentant pain. I'm feeling my pain in my hurt heart that I caused you. And then you are in that repentant pain, in your own pain. And when those pains join, it turns in, it instantly metabolizes through the body into forgiveness. It creates a beautiful, loving connection.
I feel that. When you say that, it makes me think of one of the women sent me an apology, and I could feel the sincerity of her apology. And instantly I felt tears. Like instantly I started crying, and then instantly I felt forgiveness for her.
You got it. Yeah, it is, what the last 18 months has taught me is really understanding how God works, or how Christ works, is that it's in our brokenheartedness that then it metabolizes into all the other names for God of forgiveness and grace, and it is a physiological change in the fascia of the heart. And it's remarkable. It's
Wow.
incredible.
When
But
you say,
you're going through it. I mean, it sucks, but
oh, no, it's the
yeah,
worst. You're literally, I feel like I was dying. I like lost 10 pounds in a week. Not 10, 7. Didn't sleep. And it's literally like you're dying. But when you say a physical pain, there are moments over the last, 3 weeks where I'll physically feel my heart start to hurt. And then what's the best thing to do in that moment? Is it to slow down? Is it to feel? It's like a physical pain in the heart.
it is truly a physical pain in the heart. And so, you know what an Indian burn is?
Yeah,
Indian
when
burn
they
skin. What
yeah.
that why that hurts is you're twisting the fascia. You're moving the fascia. That's a fascial. So the heart sits. Think of a Halloween, skeleton. It's sitting in the middle of our chest, and you've got fascia, these fibers coming to the sternum, coming to your solar plexus in the back, coming to your throat, and then it goes over the diaphragm.
Yeah.
And so you get a lump in your throat and it pulls up the diaphragm. It puts you into a shame curl.
Mhm.
And the physical pain is actually your heart is now, as you said earlier, you're becoming more you again. And as
Yeah.
Christ said, I will take this heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. That's
Mm.
literal. It's not some thing in your head. But the heart hurt is actually an Indian burn. So what's happening is the heart is softening and the fascia is holding on.
Oh, wow.
And so we're not, yeah, when I was on a meditation retreat, God, 17 years ago, it was right after my eldest daughter was born. It felt like there was a boar's head brush, the brushes with 8,000 little spines on it, sitting right in the middle of my back with a mallet going like this. And what was happening is I'm in posture, your upright posture like this, and that posture, you're stretching the fascia away from the heart. And you want to slump, go back into, bad dog.
Mm.
Dog's shoulders go down, the tail tucks.
Mhm.
Don't do something, you protect the heart, you shame curl. But as you start to feel better and you start to literally, you'll feel pain in your chest. And, I've had many clients, I think I'm having a heart attack. It's like, no, this is good. This is not bad. Um, but, it's the Buddhist image. I always called mine an artichoke, but is the lotus flower. Whereas it starts to open, you feel this, and so physical posture as you are sitting in posture like that. But when that fascia finally released and let go, it was the most spiritual, euphoric. Oh, and it feels like an 8,000 pound energetic dump. It's amazing.
Yeah. An
Yeah,
opening.
yeah, holding all that heart hurt, and then forgiveness is physical.
Mm.
And that the picture that I draw, it will be on my channel. Where in the present moment, we're sitting here in the present moment, and as you go up, you're feeling more and more feelings of connection, feeling more and more like you're one with the world. And
Yeah.
that's as you go down. This is Jacob's ladder to heaven, and this Dante's Inferno, Virgil leading you into hell. But as you're going down, you feel more and more of these feelings of separation of two.
Yeah.
And those feelings, cut yourself.
Mhm.
You're separating your skin, hurts, and also separating from life. And so pain signaling, I love life.
Mm.
And that heart hurt, we're basically born a freaking ball of meat and completely dependent on mom for our safety. And so attachment is, I always say it always comes down to attachment about everything. It's the Buddha's insight.
Yeah.
Yes, it is the root of our suffering, but it's also the height of our joy. And
Yeah.
so it is that capacity to logically,
Hi, my
Know that
friend.
your
I'm
body's
quickly
going through
pausing
these
this
waves.
episode to remind
And
you of the
just,
upcoming
it's a
powerful
100 million
complimentary
year old
challenge
healing
with
machine.
Dr. Doug and I
Get out
that
of the
is
way.
all about
Just
the four
Let it do its
energetic
thing, pretty
shifts that
much.
let
make
it
you
do its thing.
irresistible to
That's
your
when I
committed
feel like what I found
masculine
to be the
man. It
most
is going to be
helpful
a
is
blast,
when
and you will receive a ton
I'm starting
of
to feel,
free
if I'm feeling
value,
powerless, or
ahas,
I'm
and
starting to feel
breakthroughs.
like
So I would
abandonment,
love to see
jealousy,
you
out of
there.
control.
The
And I
link
go,
is
okay,
down
what's
below in
like
the
the
show
biggest
notes. And
one?
now
Okay,
back
I'm
to the
feeling
episode.
maybe jealous, or, or I'm feeling, and I just identify the emotion and I'm like, okay, you can come into my house. And I just sit with it and I don't try to dissolve it. What?
You invited for tea, as Tara Brock always said in that Radical Acceptance, great book from way back when, Radical
Yeah.
Acceptance. You take your emotions out to tea, and it's like
Yeah.
jealousy. Jealousy is a great one because there's only three places or three types of emotion in the body. We have stomach. So think of your favorite meal and you feel the ooh in the stomach. Think of you taking a bite of your favorite meal and you see maggots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that continuum of yummy tummy to disgust is one of them. Then bring a Labrador puppy to mind. Oh, and then it gets hit by a car. Ugh. And so the heart is the next one. That's oxytocin. And then we have fight flight. All emotions are some weird combination of that. Jealousy, disgust, heart hurt, and then also anger. Yeah, knowing you,
Rage.
rage. Yeah, that's yours. Or terror. I'm jealous and I need to hide, or I'm jealous and I'm going to kill. But great work in that you took it apart first. So I'm feeling women, men are simple. We feel most emotional, happy, horny, hostile, hungry. Women are just blended emotion. And so you took it apart. Jealousy is the biggest one. Take it apart the next step. And the next step is, ooh, that is disgusting. And my heart hurts. And I'm
Yeah.
pissed. And then it's which one of those do you want to invite to tea? And I can let the piss go because there is no anger in the present, but there's hurt.
Yeah.
And you feel that hurt, and that hurt is there. Why? Because of love.
Yeah.
And the disgust is there because it was yummy at one time. So it's like you just do the continuum, and you look at it from a distance, and then you feel the body actually metabolize this stuff through it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it gets stuck in the body, and you create a narrative about it, and you never date a guy with dark hair again.
I know, I have to watch myself. I realized that for the longest time I used to somewhat do this practice, but there was still such an element of control that I was operating in. Meaning I would like, okay, I'm gonna try and dissolve it. I'm gonna do this to dissolve it. Like it was still like my mind versus now and I'm like, I'm just not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna be with it. It's wild how much more impactful and helpful that is.
Well, I say it every day. Feelings are not problems to solve.
Yeah, you do say that since I was
I say
27.
exactly. Been that for 30 years. And it is, well, what is emotion? Emotion is an interpretation of the sensation in the body.
Yeah.
Emotion happens up in the monkey mind, and then the body is the thing that is just trying to go through these series of contraction and expansions in different parts. But why do we have emotion? What is the point?
Color
all,
life
uh all mammals, why does a dog have emotion?
to well, to experience the life, the duality of life, or
It's
to
simpler. They're trying to predict the future.
mm,
That's all they're doing, and they suck at it. I mean, they're really not good at it. But you get in loops, in that you get, the perception bias, and self-fulfilling prophecy, and attribution biases, and all these biases. You literally see what you feel.
yeah.
And so if you're able to actually just feel, and even better, take it out of the feeling realm, emotion realm, and put them in your body, and just let the sensations roll through without making the narratives out of it.
Mm.
And that is, it's a practiced skill. That's why It's my joke about what the Dalai Lama said. I don't have this callus on my ass for nothing. I meditate my ass off.
Oh my
When I
God.
meditate, it's the practice of just letting, it's called interioception. So I'm just tracking. I'm kind of psycho freak on it now, but I can feel the energy moving through all the meridians in my body. And so it's that you're just tracking that, and ooh, hiccup here, and tight little stitch in my diaphragm there, and it's not a problem to solve. You
Yeah.
just be with it, and the body knows how to regulate itself. Just get out of the way. In the
Yeah.
present moment, it knows how to regulate itself.
I wonder if that's also why I'm so drawn to dance during this time, like
Yeah.
in and movement. And I also am wondering because when the initial shock of everything happened and I went into like what so much confusion and like my whole it was crazy because when you find out it's like not only does your future collapse but your past collapses in an instant, like everything that you thought. So you have your future, your past, and it's like everything that your brain thought you were living and experiencing just it collapses. And
It's,
I can laugh now, but then I was not. I was dying. I
oh
was
boy, it's terrifying to lose. That's ego death. I mean, that is,
yeah.
ego that lives in our body, interpreted as a thing in our head, but it's this thing designed to keep us safe.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all of the rules that you lived your life by are thrown out the window. You're like, what the hell? Like, oh my, literally, we don't do helplessness as a species. Animals don't do helplessness. And that's the old trauma statement is, no helplessness, no trauma. And,
Mhm.
that capacity to actually sit in the present and just let your body go through those.
Yeah.
And, I work my literally ass off to get the narratives out of my head, because none of them are real. None of them they're just thoughts. But
Dude, because I noticed, Doug, I literally would look up. See, I'm looking up to the right, and for like 2 weeks straight, on and off, I would go into deep feeling, but then I would go into like I would literally watch my brain try to put the pieces together. I'm like, but why? But why did he do this? But why? And that was the
yeah,
question I
yeah,
kept asking, like, oh, and I felt like I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. But then when I was willing to like drop into the feeling, that was so, oh my gosh, it was so painful and like felt like death. It's like that spinning would finally stop.
yeah, yeah. And that men do typically much better in still sitting meditations.
Yeah.
Women dance, move. Vinyasa flow is beautiful styles of meditation to where you're able to feel the fluidity of your emotion.
Yeah.
I'm just laying
I
in
hope
bed,
you enjoyed the episode, and you
asking
can
yourself,
find a
why
ton
is
more
hell? I
free
mean, that
tips
is
on my
Why
literally
do we
Instagram
do
under
that? How
Rebecca
come
Boatman.
will you
If you
explain
are
that
curious about my online
for the
membership
past,
and
I guess, or like trying
community,
to
you can
understand
click
because
the
it
link
didn't
that is in the
understand
description
why,
and see
then I
the
can
page that
see it
explains
coming next
everything you
time, and I
get
won't
to
do that.
support you on your
And
journey
so
to
we're trying to come up
attracting
with a
and building a
narrative in our
healthy
head.
relationship.
And
And I
you're
hope to
driven
see
like
you
I am.
inside.
Got the lack of a executive function. People who have a massive executive function only have one monkey, one thinker in their head. They don't have the chattering voices like we do. But we've got this propensity, need to come up with a narrative, thinking the narrative is going to keep us safe.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out why. I can come up with a new narrative, and I'll never date a guy with dark hair again. And it is that it is a sense of control.
Is this why when it happened, my one thing that I really had to work on is I went to like, this is all my fault.
Yeah, it's blame. Yeah, so back to basics of trauma healing. You're a gazelle, and here comes a cheetah. If you're a gazelle and that's a cheetah, you're not going to fight it. You're going to flight it. You're going to try to get the hell away from it. All of this energy is released into the body, running. Cheetah reaches out and nicks its back hoof, and it stumbles. It goes into a state of helplessness. There's nothing I can do to make myself get safe, so I'm going to go completely numb. It's God's little gift to us. So if the cheetah comes and finds it and rips it apart, doesn't feel it. What happens, really interesting things happen when the cheetah doesn't bind it. Gazelle laying in the bushes, waiting for the cheetah, no cheetah. little bit of energy is released into the body, and eyeballs go up, ears go up, and like, what's going on here? You start to orient, looking for the cheetah, no cheetah, a little more energy, stand up, ears go up, eyeballs looking real big, no cheetah, stretches its neck, look for, convinced there's no cheetah. What does it look for next?
It's pack.
Yeah, good answer. That's the safe herd to go back into. It sees the safe herd 300 yards away. It doesn't run back to the herd. It sneaks back. So a little bit more energy, still really numb and really kind of freaked out, and you sneak back to the safe herd. What happens when it gets into the herd?
It goes crazy.
Freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
Purging and jumping and because it's trying to get all of this stuck dorsal freeze energy out of its body. What
Yeah.
human beings do, because we have a massive neocortex, is we stay laying in the bushes. We come up with a narrative, usually of blame or
Mm.
shame. It's just an explanation of attribution of what caused this. The bastard pushed me, they were jagged left and pushed me right. Who was that guy next to me? It was his fault. Never suffices. So what we do is look for attributes about ourselves that caused this.
Mm.
I wore the wrong shoes today. I missed that day in PE. If I was in better shape, the cheetah would have got me or whatever. And that keeps us laying in the bushes.
Wow.
And we then use these narratives to navigate life, living in this numbed out dorsal freeze state. And it is generation after 4 generations of this crap, and so you're born with all of this crap, generational crap in your body, and then you're pumped full of narratives by your parents, and you're just living between your ears
Yeah.
until, but if you're driven like you and me, we tend to not have that luxury because we got too many narratives in our head and our bodies are freaking out anyway. And so,
Yeah.
but once you get into the trauma healing stuff and you're able just to feel what's going on, knowing that this is happening because you're safe.
Mm.
Why are you freaking out? Because I'm safe.
Mm.
I feel like crap today. Why? Because I'm safe enough to feel like crap. And
Yeah.
so it's a real flip of the Western medical model of well, you're having symptoms. No, you're trying to heal.
Yeah.
And if you get out of the way and let yourself heal, and the hardest thing for human beings to do, I love Sebastian Unger in his book Tribe, in that we don't have a safe herd anymore,
Mm.
and we don't. And so I was talking about that earlier. I've got men's group here on Sunday nights, and you build your wolf pack, you build that tribe around you of, and I'm practicing. Have you ever tried radical honesty?
Where you share the absolute truth.
Absolute truth all the time. It is.
Yeah. That's why I like people who are way on the spectrum. They're my favorite.
I wish I was more on the spectrum. I'm definitely on spectrum, but not that much. And it's very difficult. Well, I'm a fisherman, and so I bullshit a lot. But it's still that,
Mm.
just these old narratives that we've told so many times. And what is the truth? And as you
Yeah.
slow down with it, it's been a phenomenal practice for me. And self honesty,
Yeah.
feeling the pain of that, not blame of it. And
Yeah, that's the part where I have to, because then I go into like, oh, I contributed. And then what I guess has been to what happened, but then I'm told like, no, you're not a contributor. You didn't cause this. And to separate those and take out the blame, I noticed that is hard for me. And
that is the hardest thing, because blame, for me too, blame is a reflex I have.
mm,
Because if it was my fault, then I can do something about it.
yeah,
It's just the universe and the world's not fair and the universe is unsafe, then I'm back in helpless land.
yeah.
And so
Do you th-
it's this capacity. And that's why I'm big on resilience. It's not about bad shit not happening. It's what happens when bad shit happens.
yeah.
Being
Do
able
you
to
think
feel
that
your,
the coaching world almost perpetuates in some way, and I wanna understand this more, but
Well, the therapeutic world, I can speak to that, is most of it is not trauma informed.
Mhm.
And so depression, classic, medical diagnosis of depression. You having, difficult time sleeping or sleeping too much, you can't wait, you go down the checklist of symptoms, then you're diagnosed with depression. Then they give you a pill to get rid of the symptoms. And it is a nightmare of what we've done to human beings.
Yeah.
Because what is depression? Depression is a normal, natural, physiological reaction to the perception that it's wintertime. It's called hibernation. And it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just we get stuck in perception loops where
Mm.
I'm feeling depressed and everything looks depressed, and then everything looks depressed, so I feel depressed, and then chicken and egg. Where you need to step out of your narrative land and stop
Mhm.
feeding the depression, and
Mm.
all of
And
a sudden,
staying stuck in the story.
yeah, exactly. Stay stuck in the bushes.
I, um, so when this happened, I went into panic attacks, right? Like every 10 minutes for 12 hours straight. And I noticed, Doug, I was like, it was almost like I was pushing my heart away. That's the best way to describe it because it felt too much to feel.
So the I can't resist.
Why?
So your hands were like this,
Yeah, I was like,
and then go like this. Yeah, and then put your hands like this, stop. And then we're gonna push just a little bit, and you're gonna move your neck up away from your heart. Yeah, feel, oh, there you go. You feel what's happening in your heart. Yeah, there you go, there you go, there you go. Because what that is your body is trying to actually heal the heart.
when I was going into the panic attacks.
And the heart, so my guess of what was happening, don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure, um, the diaphragm, this thing that's, really the center of our existence. Without it, we're done. It's breathing, it's all of that. But it also supports the heart. So the heart's sitting here, all the fascia goes down to the, but when you have tension in the diaphragm, and a spontaneous reaction to release tension is yawning, and that stretches it.
Yeah.
There you go. It triggers, and it's I'm more relaxed, so it triggers everybody around you. One of my favorite is laughter.
Mm.
Laughter is a spontaneous vibration in the diaphragm.
I had that for like 45 minutes yesterday, Doug. Or 2 days. I could not stop.
And that is with the spontaneous, it's the opposite of a panic attack. It's a
Yeah.
spontaneous laughter attack.
Yeah.
And it is literally crying, almost exactly the same.
Wow.
And so that ability to actually let yourself, fall apart physically with your monkey mind, and the logical, actually, the observer, your soul knowing that you're safe. And that's really
Mm.
the key to this.
So it's
Is
okay to have had panic attacks. It's not necessarily a bad thing because I was so associating with like, oh, I'm not regulating correctly, but it was so challenging.
it is, well, good and bad is yeah, I'm
A
not
judgment.
um it's your attempt to stop what your body was doing made it feel like a panic attack.
Mm.
And so that's the classic, the battle between the monkey and the elephant, monkeys and the elephant. Something's happening in my body that my monkey mind doesn't like. I judge this as dangerous. And so I push it down.
Try to separate
What
almost,
happens?
like separate from the body.
Try to get out of your body. And it is, it's sad when you go to second grade, first grade classrooms, and what do all the kids doing when they're studying their spelling words? So they got their head tilted on the damn table like this because they're trying to disconnect from their bodies. It's
'Cause
really sad. But
yeah.
yeah, as human beings, this thing that's carrying me around is, and sensations in it It's the classic, something's happening in my body that signals danger. I think it's dangerous and I try to get rid of it, which
Yeah.
causes another signal of danger back to the body. And what happens? It gets bigger,
Mm,
which triggers this going, oh man, I'm really helpless to it. And once you go into a helplessness loop, that's when the battle between the monkey and the body just go, wow. Simplest solution is curiosity
mm,
and really, and so bring back to mind the sensation of the panic attack.
it's
Yeah, is it
very
mostly heart?
frantic.
Yeah, where is frantic in your body?
My head here.
So you feel a lot of activity.
Yeah, and also here. Like
Yeah,
there's
there
like a
you go.
shaking.
Yeah, you can feel the shaking. See,
Yeah. And like a
here's
heavy
right. What is the opposite feeling?
light, peace, coherence. Say
Where's that in the body?
feels like
Yeah, is there an image associated with frantic? Is there an image associated with the opposite of light?
frantic is like tornado, and I would say light is like the sun.
Beautiful. So you got the tornado on one side of the horizon, you got the sun on the other. I'm sitting in the middle.
Mm.
Sitting here, nothing's going on. Imagine the tornado. Yeah, feel it there. Good.
I'm like, no, dog, I can't do another tornado.
And so you imagine it. We're just imagining.
Mhm.
Yeah, then feel that coming into the body. And then take a big breath in and open your eyes. You're back in the room. Feel it leaving the body. Yeah, there you go. There you go. And now imagine the sun. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. And feel how they're connected. And then
Is that
come
a
back.
part? Are they connected? And that's a part of being human, like our spirit, human.
It's called bandwidth. And so we all have bandwidth. How much shit, how much horrible feelings we can tolerate in our world. Most
Mhm.
people are pretty good at tolerating pretty crappy stuff. As a species, we suck at feeling good.
Mm.
We are terrible at it. How do you know you're happy? Well, I'm not anxious and my bills are all paid. All of these negatives are in the world. And it's like, no, I mean happy, like joy. Well, sunshine on my face. Okay. And you feel that whole other spectrum start to open up.
Yeah.
So where I send all of the people I work with is really anchoring yourself and learning how to feel good. And most important is this connection. So when the tornadoes come, I'm not trapped in it.
Mm.
I'm able to come back to the present and push it off the horizon. I know it's there, but I can't even see it. I can invite it closer. I'm in control of inviting these images or whatever, his face closer. And it's like, what is the opposite image?
The sun, the lightness.
Yeah, and then you feel that lightness and the connection between them then, all anchored in the present moment, where presence is, how does the present moment feel? Neutral, empty, okay.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of okay. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of people a long time to figure out, is it okay to be okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Is it okay to be okay? I noticed the most challenging emotion of all of them to be with this was when I wasn't feeling, when all of a sudden there was like nothing and I felt numb. And I was like, oh, I hate this.
That is wonderful.
Really? To hate it or to feel numb? Or
Numb is not a feeling. So I'm feeling me coming out of numb. Numb is
mm,
not feeling.
mhm.
And so as you feel that, like, oh God, I've been
The stagnant, like
yeah, and that stagnant, but
some
knowing
people live there, which is crazy to me.
90% of people live there all the time.
Oh, I can't. I could not.
Yeah. It's just yeah, once you're embodied or waking up all that dorsal freeze, time starts to slow way down. You start to feel alive more. You start to feel here. A lot of people have been, born and died and they never lived.
Yeah. I noticed too, like I was at On It working out, doing the hip thrust machine, and some guy I'd only met once comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And Doug, I go, not good. And I just started bawling, and it was so unexpected. It was so unexpected. And then it felt so good. And I was, and there's other people who just see me bawling in the gym doing my glute exercise. But what I realize is when someone asks you and they're in a coherent space or their heart is open, it's almost like because I've felt times when other people have asked and it's a different reaction. Is that because their nervous system is or their heart is more open? Does that also impact our response or?
Sure, he walked up with divine energy,
Mm,
divine mask,
mhm.
and offered that energetic, protection. And your little psyche just went, "Wah." It's just like, "Wah."
This is the
Like,
truth.
you okay? Did you, I mean, like, you freak him out.
No, he was like, "Do you wanna go on a walk?" Like, he felt like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
that's
Jonah
wrong.
just my dog just popped up, that's funny." He knows the W word. Yeah.
But it's yes, we are a herding animal. We are a tribal
Mm.
animal, and we are
Yeah.
what is happening here is he offered you safety, and just
Y
the gazelle was like, all right, bye.
yeah, and then same 4 other people came over and they're like, "It's okay, let others." And I'm like, "Wow," it felt so nice, and I don't know these people, you know? I was like, "This was a really beautiful moment." Question, so through this process, I discovered I knew that my parents had an affair when I was little, but I didn't kn when I was 11 months, my, dad left for another woman. And I didn't know though that he had been with multiple women when I was an infant and then left, then my mom's still nursing me and it's traumatic for her.
All
And,
that's traced in your DNA.
yeah, so I wanted will you speak into that? Because this I haven't really talked about yet at all or really, fully understood. But I was wondering, like, oh wow, and I literally experienced
So
the
it
same thing.
yeah, I'll go this way. It's called the imago, and the imago is this theory, and it's a theory that you're going to choose a partner that offers you the potential to heal that trauma. And it is, you're going to pick somebody who is like your father, has got that same energy trace. And, that's usually called chemistry. Oh, we got great chemistry. It's the Adam Carolla back in Loveline. Do you remember Loveline? Probably not, but Adam Carolla always said, if you have tons of chemistry, run because it's
Mhm.
gonna because what that's doing is actually your potential wound and his potential wound are actually filling each other up, and it feels amazing. But then the disappointments start to come, and then it starts to tear apart. So your mindfulness practice and being able to actually start to really feel into as you start to date again is going to be a very interesting process.
Yeah.
Simple. How did the energy at how did the energy at the gym with the guy who walked up feel?
Kind.
Yeah. How's that different than your ex?
Mm,
Oh, there you go.
odd.
I just watched it. You just
Like,
went right to your head. You came out of your body.
uh, well, this man, it was non-sexual. With my ex, it was sexual off the bat.
So discernment, yeah, libidinal energy.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's going to be your flag then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
So
feel
discernment between, non-libidinal divine masculine energy to serve and protect,
yeah.
and being able to tolerate that is what you and I do use that word directly and specifically because it's not going to feel familiar and it's not going to feel fun.
It's gonna feel boring. I'm just joking. Kind of not really kidding.
Maybe I don't know
Yeah.
what it's going to feel like, and neither do you.
Mhm.
And so that capacity to actually feel that energy and let that energy do its work.
Yeah.
So it is, but you're going to be drawn to a libidinally charged narcissist
Mhm.
because that's going to speak to the wound that you need to heal.
Mhm.
so will the boredom you feel with a divinely protective. It's like, man, I just feel like there's something missing here.
Oh my gosh, I was talking to Annie about this last night. My best friend, I flew here. We're gonna road trip all summer.
Oh, good.
Um,
But that something missing is your wound.
is what the wound?
Is the wound.
Looking for the dopamine.
It's dopamine. There's all kinds of neurochemicals there, but yeah, it is that. But that is a healing path.
I'm hitting pause just for a moment to let you know that Dr. Doug and I will be launching a powerful program to love and healthy relationships coming up soon. So if that interests you and you're loving Dr. Doug's wisdom, then just find me on Instagram at Rebecca Boatman and send me a message that says Dr. Doug. Okay, now back to the episode.
When all this stuff happened, the best way to describe it is I felt like an infant. Do you think a part of the way I was reacting and how I was crying and hysterical is a part of me discharging energy from when I was an infant, or no? And
It's
that
all
happening with my parents?
it's all the same.
So was there any potential
Body, the time doesn't exist except between our ears.
yeah.
Monkey
The
mind is a time machine. So the body doesn't know, it doesn't know the difference between something that happened yesterday and 30 years ago. It's just a imprint trace in the DNA.
yeah.
So when that DNA gets triggered, and being able to discern and sort out all of these emotions and actually really work on the spectrum of them.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be not feel all that into a guy.
Mm.
But what other feelings are there too? Well, he's a friend and he's safe and he's fun and okay. Yeah, but this missing thing. Yeah, but this missing thing. No, but what else is there too? And we tend to focus. Remember, we're negative seeking machines. And so we'll tune out all of the good stuff, only thinking that missing part. And so, the work is really to tune into that. And yeah, those wounds, well, when did that wound happen?
When I was an infant.
And 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And recently.
Right. And so they stack and they couple up. And it's not, a wound on top of a wound on top of a wound. No, it's the same wound. It's just
Mm.
reinforced. It's not given the opportunity to heal.
I
So
guess
we repeat these patterns and patterns and patterns, and it doesn't re-traumatize us. It's the same trauma just looped in the body. And that's good news. Once it's healed, you only have to heal this. You only have to go through it once.
well, can we just say I healed it, Doug?
We
That's what
will
I'm
find
asking.
out,
I
won't
realize
we?
I'm asking. I realize the intention of
The
part of
guy
my
at the gym
question is
too.
is wrapped into, please let all of this be beneficial. Please tell me that I released stuff from my body as an infant
Well,
that I
yes, yes,
okay.
yes, 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 yes. You only have to go through it once.
Yeah. I
Was the guy
do.
at the gym cute?
Oh, but not my type. He's
There it is.
attractive, he's handsome, but
There it is. There it is.
what?
He's not my type.
I want
Your
someone
type, your
I want someone
type.
okay, established. I want someone more established. That's what I mean.
So on paper, he wasn't.
Mhm.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, there's all those things, but it is that neurochemistry of real strong early attachment is typically associated with trauma bonding. Being able to actually just be curious about and not have a type.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some external, he's got to have a job. That's not a type. Those are conditions.
Okay, conditioned. But I wanna stay single for at least a year
Why?
because I've always been in a relationship.
But yeah, that type that you're drawn to is and entertain the idea of, well, let's go back to a year. Why a year? How would you know that you're ready?
Mm. I guess what's coming to heart is that I don't feel I need the attention for security.
There you go. So you feel safe.
Yeah. And I
Safe by
know It's humbling to admit, but there is that part of me, it's like, "Oh," like, I'm getting it even now I'm single and, sometimes I'm like, "Oh, there's that, like" I don't know, it's okay to be giddy and excited, but I'm also like, "Oh, I don't wanna feel like I need that at all."
If you can learn, great. I love it. If you can learn the difference between need versus want,
Yeah.
and that need is that trauma,
Mm.
and the want is it would be nice to have someone who protects me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and feeling that in the practices, breath work and meditation and sauna and Copeland and all of that stuff, movement and dance and all of that, and
I started
knowing,
teaching dance, Doug.
oh, even better. What kind of dance?
Twerk,
Oh, you really?
but to my friends, and I love it there's a little twerk goes a long way.
Oh, I'm sure that's a lot of trauma stored in the hips, but
Yes.
tons, yeah. That tension releasing exercises I'm very familiar with, where you really do get that tension out. But this
Mhm.
knowing that I'm safe and knowing that I'm whole, but still feel the missing part of a relationship is a difficult thing. It takes a lot of practice to get to. But you'll
Mm.
get there. It's just when you're dancing, feeling that wholeness, feeling like I'm free, feeling all of that,
Mhm.
and then
That's when I
stop.
feel the most free.
Yeah. And then generalizing that or integrating that into the rest of your life is the integration piece, where you can, how do you do that shopping? How do you do that with groceries? How do you do that driving your car? How do you do that smiling at a boy and smiling at a man?
Yeah,
And
man.
exactly. And that do I still feel that? And when does that, continue? Feeling it go down. It's not yes, no. I
Mhm.
can feel that emptiness starting to open again. Do I
Mm.
know how to fill it? Yeah. I'm back to neutral.
Mm.
And this is what he could bring to me.
Mhm.
So it's really key to get that
Mm.
continuum kind of figured out in your body.
And I notice my ability to pick up integrity is like on
So
masterful or it's a
divine feminine, which I'm very familiar with in the last 6 months. I've been doing a lot of work on that. Divine, because my divine masculine is really coming online. But divine feminine is nurturing and intuition, where your intuition starts to really get honed, and you
Mhm.
can see through people
Mhm.
and see the integrity and see integrity. Integra means wholeness.
Yeah.
And so you can see that he's not trying to hide these holes in his body.
Yes.
Yeah, that is literally the holes in the shadow. And so it's, yeah.
I feel like this is a great uh, I wanna ask you a second question. I feel like it's so great for all of our ladies to hear. So, you know, I was asked to go hang out for this guy asked me to go hang out. And at first I was like, I'm not, I don't wanna get hit on, so I tried inviting another friend as a buffer. I was like, "Oh," and I was like, "No, I'll just shut it down if it happens." Anyways, she couldn't come, so it was just him and I. I asked him a question. He said it's complicated. Then he gave a roundabout answer. And then I said, okay, so what's complicated? Like, because that's what he led with. And he goes, it's not. Like, there was a clear discrepancy. And I was like, huh, and then there's another point, there's something similar happened. And I said, no, I said, the question was too vulnerable or you really don't know what you want. Like, I just kind of called it.
I love this. So let's go this.
Yeah.
Men live in a spotlight. We live in a very narrow, blinders on ego tunnel.
Mhm.
Women live in a floodlight. You guys see everything.
Yeah.
And you want to you want to really screw up a relationship quickly as a woman, tell yourself a man should know. He should know
Mm.
that.
Mm.
And well, he should know he needs to call me. He should know. He should know. He should know.
Hmm.
We don't know. we are like we are
Women
Labradors.
do that.
We are. They do that a lot, and it's
Mhm.
like, what makes you think he should know? Well, everybody knows that. Men and boys and girls, men and women are really different animals.
Yeah.
lots of reasons men know that women do not work the same as them. For some weird reason, not quite sure, women assume men aren't as simple as they are. And,
Mhm.
I could do the biology. Men have a quarter of the size of the corpus callosum, the part that connects your logical part of the brain with the emotional part of the brain. Very narrow.
Mhm.
This is where the emotional part of the brain is where you get three-dimensional thinking and you see everything connected. It's why feeling type men tend to be much more, not locked into ego tunnels, but men are locked into this rational, linear A, B, C logic ration.
Mhm.
Women, left and right, massive connections between the emotion and logic. You guys see all of the connections between things.
Yeah.
And so for a woman to actually see through a man is your gift to men.
Yeah.
Boys hate it.
Yeah.
Boys hate it because it's, what do you mean? You're just being crazy. You're being too sensitive. You're being over, why are you analyzing me? And it is this classic dynamic of men and women, and it blows up. Men get defensive. They think you're making things up, or you're just like, what do you even talk? We don't get it. We honestly don't.
Mhm.
Like, we don't see what you see.
Mhm.
So you first have to build a man up. I've had you read
Mm.
She 10 times, and
How
you
you what?
read She, Robert
Oh,
Johnson.
yeah.
Yeah, where you're to illuminate. I know you're a good man. I know you're not trying to hurt me, but do you see how you not calling me actually could hurt me? Oh my
Yeah.
God, I didn't mean it. I know you didn't mean it. I already said that, but it still hurt. That's where you're going to find out how much maturity he has. How much is he able to actually anchor in himself that I know I'm a good man.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach all the men I work with, to hold their truth.
Mm.
You're late. You don't care about me.
Mhm.
It's not true for me. I'm
Yeah.
late because helping an old lady after she had a flat tire. And, I know I care about you. But she's not talking about me. She's talking about her feelings. So
Yeah.
she's using me as an example, trying to get me to feel, where a guy is going to, well, what the hell? You don't know anything, versus a man's going to go, whoa, 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 that sucks.
Mm.
What's going on? Nothing. You don't care. And you slam the bedroom. He's gonna go, boy, there's some maturity.
Yeah. He's gonna be a
All that.
mirror.
Good luck with all of that. I'm not playing that game. I
Yeah.
know I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not going to try to prove, because that's coming from your wounded place that you want me to take responsibility for. Not, no, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. And that is that divine masculine. I didn't cause your pain. I may have
Yeah.
triggered it. I may have not helped with it, but I know I didn't mean it. Therefore, I can
Yeah.
feel that hurt in myself, that I hurt my partner, and I can invite your hurt. And when those two hurts come together, that's when magic happens.
Like
It
I
is yeah, that's what I teach all my men. It's going to feel really crappy, and it's going to feel like she just tore you a new butthole. But if you shut up and stand still and just come here, I got you, it'll lead to sex. Promise. It is like,
You're like outcome, carrot, focus, breathe.
shut up, breathe, shut
Yeah.
up, breathe, shut up, breathe. You didn't try to hurt her. Don't try to prove it. Don't say a freaking word.
Yeah.
That true.
Yeah.
But hold the hurt too. It
Yeah.
hurts to hurt somebody,
Yeah.
but don't lose yourself in it. Don't, and for her to actually see what he's doing in that and not try to test it. That's
Yeah.
women like to test men to really see if he cares, and it's like, why?
That's
What's
the
your
little girl, right? That's like the
like?
codependent. Do you, because now with, I feel like my ability to sense integrity is very heightened, I think, from this experience, and also just like a carefree detachment of like, oh, like I see a discrepancy, and like I feel neutral about, maybe because I'm also not in a partnership. I know it's a little bit more challenging when you're attached, but I've noticed I'm just like, oh, like I'll just kind of call it out, like, and I'm wondering, um, and I know that's like a gift too to give people,
Oh, women,
and
it is the art of being able to present it.
to resent it.
To
Present
present
it. That's the
it.
part I want your support on, where I'm like, "Oh, so maybe before doing it, like saying,
That's
oh, I see."
Robert Johnson. You don't approach the ram during the
Mhm.
day. You got to sneak in and use your cunning. You got to own your power, meaning you got to
Okay.
really own how much influence you have over the circumstance and over the situation, particularly in shaping this guy and helping him become a man.
Mm.
And well, that's the old, there's only one man with perfect integrity, and I ain't it. And that, me falling short of it isn't the problem. It's what I do when I find out about it.
Mhm.
And that is what, and I know you want to be better. So this is what I'm seeing.
Mm.
And
So
it
maybe asking for permission first, like, "Hey, I noticed something. Can I share it with you? Are you open?" Or like, versus
builds
just
them up
outright.
first. You reinforce men. So men, men, I do mean men, not boys. Men live by intention. My
Mhm.
intention is not to hurt you. Women live by emotion. And so you have to speak intention first, and then they'll hear you. You're a good
But like
guy.
my intention is to.
Oh, his intention.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how unnatural that is for you even to think about. Well, I'm assuming he's coming from his emotion. No, he's not. We don't have that part of the brain connected. We're
Yeah.
coming from our logical. I went to work and worked 19 hours just for you. That's what I did all day. And I
Mhm.
come home and you're bitching at me that I'm late. Don't you see my good intention? Don't you
Mm.
see my emotion? And so that's the mismatch. I know that you care about me, Mr. Husband. I know, boyfriend, whatever. I know that you're not trying to piss me off. And you're a good guy and you want to make your life better and want to improve on these things. So what I see is I saw you in the driveway talking on the phone for 40 minutes.
Mhm. Hear the facts. I'm just joking.
Can you text me first and let me know what's up? Because it freaked me out. It scared me.
Yeah.
And watch what he does. Why didn't that? I didn't mean to. I didn't, is he scared? That means he hasn't done the work to really know that he's a man.
Mhm.
He's trying to still waffling and trying to prove that he is. Versus, yeah, I get that. And then watch his heart. Does he have a tender heart? When he hurts you, he didn't mean to, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
And then his hurt and your hurt, magnets. If he shuts up, does it right, he gets laid.
Yeah. With what you just.
After he screws up, that's what
Yeah.
it is a because then you really do get to prove that divine masculine. Like I
Yeah.
hurt you and I hurt because you hurt and that sucks and let's share
Yeah.
that moment and your aloneness goes away. But watch that change. And if you don't see that change, then it's manipulated.
Yeah. That makes complete sense. I needed that. Thank you. Okay, so wait, can we do another interview soon?
Yeah, I'd love
Okay,
to.
I would love that. And will you share with everyone? By the way, thank you, Doug. I missed you a lot. I'm so grateful to do this.
Fun.
How can everyone stalk you, find you, and everyone listening? You guys, I don't even know if you have openness or if you're taking on new clients, Doug.
I'm not. I've got so much going on, but I am driven. All things Doug is iamdriven.com.
I have all the links down below.
Perfect. Links will be down below. So
Awesome. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
welcome. This is a blast.
I hope you enjoyed the episode, and you can find a ton more free tips on my Instagram under Rebecca Boatman. If you are curious about my online membership and community, you can click the link that is in the description and see the page that explains everything you get to support you on your journey to attracting and building a healthy relationship. And I hope